So I've been thinking as I've been sick, and if you didn't notice, I didn't put up a video last week. I lost my voice. My voice is still a little shaky, as you can tell, but I was thinking about how do we show up for our art anyway, even if maybe we're not feeling well, if we're not ready, just start. And there's many ways to do that. And my thinking, at least currently, is just start with a mark, start with a layer. And I almost didn't make this week's video, but I thought, well, you know what? No, we just need to keep moving forward. And that's what I'm demonstrating today. So I'm in my, I'll show you in a minute. Stay to the end. Please like and subscribe. And if you're feeling stuck or not showing up or overwhelmed by where to start, this is the right place. And that's why I call it Beyond Mixed Media, because there's so much more to it. So let's get started. So welcome if you're here for the first time. My name is Michelle Holden, and I am a mixed media artist, and I call my channel Beyond Mixed Media. As I've said previously, there's so much more to it. I believe in following one's intuition, in leading. As I say, art is the heart following the soul, and art is a reflection of what is, of who you are. And so this week, I thought I would find some inspiration, since we're not sounding normal, we're not quite myself, but I thought I would just show up anyway. Why? Because our art has value. It is important. And I hope you feel the same way. And if you don't, I have a 5-day free course that can set you up on your intuitive art practice. I call it an intuitive art journaling. And right here is one of my journals in front of me. And this spread, which is the 2 pages, has inspired me for this week's video. So let's get on with it. When you're not feeling so hot or so well, it's a good idea, at least I think, to use your favorite tools and just keep going with them. What can we make? What would this do? And keep asking yourself those questions. This is my all. I'm going to use very similar colors here, which is no colors. I might bring in the yellow oxide, or I might leave the parchment with white and black. I'm using my smaller color shapers, my brayer, and maybe my catalyst wedge. I brought in another scrape through clay, a potter's tool, and of course a different brush. And this is part of my watercolor brushes. I'm hoping it'll handle the acrylic paint, but really remembering to wash it thoroughly after. And then of course I thought, well, I want to try my feathers I have up on my station here, up on my wall, a bunch of things from nature, and I will be gathering, since it's fall and everything's all gone to seed, and I just love that starkness. This spread, I love the writing element in it, and I'm going to continue using that. I've used this stencil here, but it was really wet, but I really liked how it made those marks. And I love all the transparent layers, the early ones, the pencil line. And just having some dark, some light in a sort of an all over. This is pretty open here, but I like the open space. So let's see what happens this week. In my other journals, I usually keep this side empty for notes, but in this one I don't. I need a bigger space to be a little freer and for the marks to really work. So that's what I'm using this journal for, and I'll keep going. So I'll start another spread right here. I'm not taping the edges. I'm just letting the marks happen. I also have some acrylic inks in white and black. I'm going to be using my gloss medium for the more fluid glue or to attach these very transparent pieces just in black and white. Now, some of you, like you might really love color. I love color as well, but I find it very overwhelming if I'm trying to just focus on mark making. And I like to use, and it's a good idea, I think a lot of people practice this, to use just black and white, maybe bring in a neutral, and maybe one other color, but that's it. I'm using the Fluid Liquitex, which is so nice for this. But when I'm stamping with my stencils, I'm going to I'll probably use the Liquitex Basic, which is thicker, and you'll get a crisper edge. Liquitex also has unbleached titanium, which if you look close, there's less yellow in it. And I might like that today if I have enough. So let's just activate this page. I love activating it with pencil. And I'm just going to go. So I'll stop talking. But I'm not going to speed up this video. I find it works against the whole slowing down and finding stillness. If we're speeding everything up, I find I can't speed up anymore anyway. What's the point? A long, thin brush that I like to use. I forgot I didn't get water ready. Everything else is ready. There's always something with my opposing hand. I'm liking this because you can go thin and sort of thick. Let's try that again. Yes. And I refer to this as exploration. So it's really nice to have a journal or two or three for maybe you want to dedicate one just for color. Maybe experimenting with your transparent collage. Or it doesn't matter. Just keep showing up. Now I added lots of water to this one. Yeah, I really like the many different lines you can get from this brush. I'm going to try splattering earlier in the stages. Now, I love what the brayer can do because you just get a surprise. I don't like to do it to all of the marks. just to some. Now I don't want two separate pages, so I just noticed that now. So I'm going to use my color shaper here. And this coil in the middle can be sort of annoying, but it's just experimental, so it doesn't really matter. I'm finding that starting with black first is very interesting, as I'm going to veil and work back. I mean, add layers on top. Okay, so I'm going to brayer some thicker spots just so I can dry this quicker. It's a good lifter. See that? I rolled it over, lifted the paint up, but it didn't interfere with that shape, so that's really good. Now I'm going to veil some things. So I'm going to use that paint. Oh, where? Can hear me digging around. Huh. It's across at the other station. This is Liquitex's transparent mixing white. And I find it really, really great for veiling. Now, I'm in Ontario, Canada, but I know Liquitex sells their stuff everywhere, so you might want to try that, or also the fluid. So I find just experimenting with grids and colors, I find I don't paint that way, so I don't find it very useful. I've got to do a page and find out about things. So here's the transparent. So you can see it's very transparent. Now I'll just go over sections. Now, there is a little blending here. So if you don't want that, and it could have been the paint on the color shaper, make sure your layer that you're painting over is thoroughly dry. So what is my intention today? My intention is to go further. That was close, and I'm looking for how do I want this page to feel. And I've always been looking for atmospheric layers or ethereal layers, but very complex, to end up with very complex layers of shadows. See, and then that white coming through would look very interesting. That I would have achieved the same if I remember to use my awl earlier. So I'm exploring that. Okay, need a little bit more. And I think I will also bring in the unbleached titanium. Plugged up a bit. There we go. Running low, but that's okay. Oh. we can use some of the other stuff. And sometimes I like to mix the white with it, just so it's just warms it up a little bit. That's just paint left over from last week, or the week before, I should say. And I'm just sort of putting areas of this warmer tone around. Just feeling it. Now what I do, if I want a thinner layer or to lift some off, I use a eyeglass bottle sprayer, and you see, and it can lift off more with your color shaper and spread it around. I'm liking that. I don't want the warm everywhere, but I want enough of it. Okay. There. Okay, quick dry. So this type of approach really would be beneficial to keeping a record, and you could keep notes at the side or whatever, because that's what it is, of different starts, just using black and white. And black and white and neutral are a great study in your mark making process. It's like, oh yeah, jot down, for instance, those lines were made with the, I'll call it my thin brush, just so I can remember. And I also have, don't forget, your self-reflection PDF with a set of, now where are those? Here we go again. Your art prompts. So they're together. So when you sign up for my newsletter or want to get these are free. These are absolutely great. Like today, if I just didn't know where to start, what to do, I would have just picked one of these, a big collage torn. And that's what I'm going to do. And then you just set them down. You could even take a visual with your phone of all of the collages, the art prompts you used, so you can reference those in the future. And I think I'm just going to keep filling up this journal as a black and white spread. I think it'll be very useful. So I'm going to use a big torn, and this is how I figure out what to use. I just select any one that feels good. This is interesting. This is the transparent, it's the tracing parchment paper. It's very thick. It's mostly a Payne's gray. It might be interesting, but I'm not sure. I'm preferring one that has a lot of open space left, and this is why. Yes, I'll use this one. When you're using, I'm going to tear it, of course, but I want to trim this, the deli wrap, that's what this is, edge away. And I don't want to interfere with this piece, so I'll just cut this out. So those were made from my small stencils. Why I like, you can see my hand under there, and you can see the previous layers. So that's one of the reasons. Now, if I see an area that I like, and I just want a little bit more under there, sometimes I use my China marker just to create more underneath so you can see. And I usually use the gloss medium for the thinner papers. Use my catalyst wedge here. Because it's clean, I usually use my color shaper, but that's okay. It's the same. As you can see, as soon as you put the gloss medium on it, it makes it transparent, translucent, and you see those underlying areas. I really think it's sort of in my peripheral as to why the transparent layers create such depth to your work, to this page. And of course, what is it that I'm going for? Well, I'm going for a feeling. So this was made with sepia, but I sort of like, you see? Those are sort of reflecting, it's sort of repeating, so I'm going to put it right on top. That is an old encyclopedia page, but it is the very transparent paper. I go to my bookstore to find those, but now I have so many, I don't really need to go anymore because, of course, storage issues. You can start collecting a lot of paper really quick. So I don't even know if I like that. I sort of like it, but what I'll do is I'll end up veiling it a little bit so it'll blend in. It'll be integrated or embedded in the page. And that's the overall feel for my large abstract series that I'm working towards. This is also a great way to find those things that you're looking for. Now, this is copy paper with a spatter, but I love its opacity, and it's such a difference here. I'm just moving it around to find, is it great with a higher contrast? Right there. I don't know why. Blue needs to get out of there. And these spreads or pages are meant to be really quick. So I really don't want to be doing a lot. Now, see, it's covering it. So I'm going to just cover it a little bit. And I find the copy paper is even slightly translucent. Now I found a piece of this. So I'm going to deal with it across. I don't want to put everything there. Yes. Now there's nothing there, but that's okay. Okay. Let's do another one. Now I'm into this because I don't want to think. Dots. Ew. Okay then. Dots. Let's use some black ink. And I know this could smudge or whatever. This sort of So I won't go in that area again, but we need a few over here. I think these dots are going to turn into drips, which I love. So I'm going to tilt my page, see what happens. Love it. Now I need to soak them up a bit without ruining them, of course. Interesting. Love that. I could even monoprinting is another fun way to make you like your mark, then you can repeat it. So because of repetition. Okay. Oh. Okay. Here's some more dots. So I think I'll echo that. Another stencil. I'm going to make it tall. Not that much. So your ratio, yes, right there. And I'm not going to go that much further with this page. With spread, I should call it. Spread. It's one thing I've been working on is to hold back as well with my layering. Less is more, in other words. Oh, wow, that's so nice. Okay, I need some over here. And I'm going to go smaller. Okay, so diagonally, relationships, dots. I think we could use I want writing elements. I'm going to echo what's there. Okay. Do think it needs a little spattering. Now I've got some leftover paint, which I really don't like. I've been experimenting with my spattering just to use a little in different thicknesses. So I want to bring these two pages together. There. Okay. Love that. I think I need some of this on the other side as well. And then we're done. Right there. Oh. Sort of to join the pages together. I've not done that before. And I love how you can see the gold. Oops. underneath the paper. Okay, and that's all I want to do. So compare this, which is a lot more paint. I didn't stencil. Let's add a stencil. So it sort of will go on top. Now I don't know if that's the right feel. Yes, this is. Okay, right in here. So I like to use a makeup sponge. I don't want to cover up all that white. I really like it. So we'll just overlap a little bit. Oh yeah, that does work. Oh, I think we'll even overlap on here, just to go past the edge. So it sort of goes down. Interesting. Maybe we'll add just a bit here. Just to get that diagonal swoop. Okay. So that's my page for today. I am so glad that I just showed up anyway. And again, once you just start, you just, you're present. Everything else melts away. It helped me feel better. I hope this inspires you. And don't forget to try out the 5-day free course or get your art prompts and your self-reflection PDF. Join my newsletter for future courses to come. So I will see you in the next video.